value pack of fresh Purdue chicken thighs, only $1.99 per pound. Save $2 on juicy red or white seedless grapes, $3.99 per pound. Just $1.79 for a 500-gram package of tamapeni, rigate, or fettuccine. Save $1.50 on Bertolli pasta sauce, $3.99 for select varieties of 24-ounce jars. Frozen Vieira Portuguese rolls, $4.79 for a 6-pack. All stores open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
You can count on us.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Wednesday, March 13th. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for joining us. A heavy police presence in the Warwick area following an attempted robbery at a popular store in the area earlier today. This is the second time a business in the nearby parishes of Warwick and Paget have been targeted. But as Dwayne Keynes, the police public and media relations manager, explained, this time the would-be robber left empty-handed. He may also have suffered a few bruises for his failed efforts.
At 2 p.m. today, police attended a report of an incident. Now, that incident took place at Bo's Lawnmower Store on Middle Road in Warwick. Details are still emerging, but it appears that a male tried to get entry into that establishment. He made demands of money. The information coming to us was the owner, he was in the store, he noticed a person coming into the store. He said the man actually came in and closed the door. He used a gasoline can, was used to keep the door ajar. He noticed the man making overtures towards that weapon. He did not wait to see what was coming next. He grabbed the man, wrestled him to the ground. They wrestled and worked their way outside. When they got outside, the man made his way free and he escaped in the area. He's described as a black male. He's between 5 foot 10 inches and 6 feet tall, of slim build. He was wearing all black. Now we have started the investigation. We're asking anyone who may have seen anything suspicious to contact police on 295-0011, or alternatively, they can call the Crime Stoppers hotline. That number is 800-8477. Anyone who carries out an act like this should be a person of interest to the, is a person of interest to the Bermuda Police Service. We don't want anyone doing anything heroic at this point in time. If you see somebody at this juncture in your neighborhood acting suspiciously or befitting the description, 5 foot 10 to 6 feet tall, of thin build, wearing all black, all we're simply asking you to do is contact the police.
And at last check, that suspect remained at large. Well, Czech national Josef Volček has been jailed for 30 years for importing over $9.5 million worth of heroin. Justice Carlo Graves said it was the largest volume and value of heroin ever imported into Bermuda that has come before the courts.
Volček was unanimously found guilty by a jury on Monday to 2 counts of importing 2,954.8 grams, or about 3 kilos, of heroin and possessing the drugs with intent to supply. Prosecutors told the court the sentence imposed on the defendant should be 30 years for each offense, as the man was wholly responsible for the crime, adding that use of the highly addictive drug is on the rise in Bermuda. There is evidence of its destructive qualities in the community. Volček was caught with the drugs in his suitcase at the Elfwade International Airport by customs officer in September 2017. Defense lawyer Susan Mulligan argued the law places cocaine and heroin offenses on the same schedule, and therefore the court should not impose a heavier sentence over the other. She added that her client, a foreign national who speaks only 75% English and with no previous convictions, has suffered being in custody without any contact with family from his native Czech Republic. She claimed he was living a humble life before this incident and suggested he was duped or lured by someone willing to help him with his art exhibition, though accepts the seriousness of the crime. She added that the sentence should not exceed 18 years. Volček stood beside his interpreter and responded no in Czech to wanting to address the court before sentencing. Justice Carlo Graves agreed with the prosecution, stating those who take the risk to benefit from the lucrative market in this jurisdiction must take the responsibility, knowing that the penalty will be severe when caught. He added that diamorphine, or heroin, is at the high level of the addicted drug spectrum, surpassed only by fentanyl. It said that it is 50 times more lethal or potent than cocaine, end quote. Volček was sentenced to 30 years imprisonment for each offense of importation and possession of the drug with intent to supply to run concurrently. Time spent in custody was also taken into consideration.
Premier David Byrd says he will not throw any civil servant under the bus due to a minor technical omission that sees Bermuda temporarily on the EU list of non-cooperative tax jurisdictions. The Premier told members of the House of Assembly this is a technical issue which has already been remedied.
The Cabinet shall be collectively responsible to the Legislature for any advice given to the Governor or by the under general authority of the Cabinet and for all things done or by the authority of any minister in the execution of his office. I am not going to stand at this dispatch box right now, Mr. Speaker, and throw any member of the public service under the bus. It is my responsibility. I accept the responsibility on behalf of the government, and that is the way, Mr. Speaker, that I hope that this House will understand. There are hard-working public officers that have done this particular work, and in that, I am not going to disparage any of their efforts in this particular situation. We fell short, and I accept the responsibility here today, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Premier.
However, the Premier's statement to the House of Assembly on the EU blacklist did not sit well with the OBA spokesperson for Finance, Patricia Gordon-Pamplin. During an interview outside of the chamber, the opposition MP expressed her disapproval of the Premier's handling of her questions on the matter. Here's what she told Mike Sharp.
There seemed to be a bit of testiness on behalf of the Premier, almost suggesting that I didn't have the right to ask the question. But I think it's very important that we do ask the questions, because if the deadline was February 24th for submission and somewhere in March there was a determination that our submission was deficient, then we didn't meet the deadline. And I think that as opposed to having a declarative statement to indicate that the deadline is met, we are now compliant, which was not the case. It does not matter that the meeting was scheduled for some time subsequent, in my estimation. If we were deficient, we were deficient. Acknowledge that we were deficient, and then we can correct it to make sure that going forward, we don't have these challenges again. If we don't learn from lessons, if we continue to take a haughty or an arrogant approach as a jurisdiction, then we will not get the cooperation from people with whom we need to have that cooperation. We have to be a little contrite when we make mistakes, acknowledging mistakes, and not blaming the people to whom we are making the submissions to say, well, their meeting wasn't going to be until a certain date. If we miss the deadline, we miss the deadline. Yeah. Acknowledge it, correct it, and move on. Yeah.
This is Patricia Gordon-Pamplin. We'll have more for you after this short break, including all the latest weather news. Stay with us.
Wondering, do cell phone and internet providers really look out for his best interests? And what about electricity? Like most people, Cal's had his share of bad experiences with service providers. Yet, he also has friends in the industry who go above and beyond for customers. As a consumer, your experience shouldn't be hit and miss, which is why the regulatory authority is introducing consumer protection standards. Cal likes that. The standards will mean improved frontline staff training, fair and honest marketing and advertising, better handling of complaints, easy to understand billing, and protection for vulnerable consumers. The new guidelines will also set service standards for managing outages, customer data privacy, and more. The regulatory authority wants to know what's important to you. It's easy to have your say. Go to rab.bm to be part of the Consumer Protection Public Consultation.
Sears is Bermuda's largest home appliance store with over 200 appliances in our showroom. We have refrigerators and freezers, gas ovens and electric ranges, washers and dryers. Sears has a wide selection of craftsman's tools and accessories. Beautify your home with our lawn and garden tools. We have everything you need for outdoor entertaining. Located at 41 Victoria Street, Sears is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sears, reliable delivery, quality service, and everyday low prices.
Thanks for staying with us. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Kathy Lynn Simmons announced today amendments to the Liquor License Act, which were tabled in the House of Assembly. We asked the AG for her view on police closing sporting clubs after antisocial behavior and about roadside sobriety checks.
We are up for debate, Ministry of Legal Affairs, but more importantly, we tabled amendments to the Liquor Licensing Act 1974 today. Long-awaited amendments which are going to modernize the scheme. You'll see two classes of new licenses, provision made for those in relation to catering events, in relation to wine tasting. So what happens is that we've heard from our stakeholders in industry, and we've taken on board, along with the recommendations that come from the current chair, who's the senior magistrate, what needs to happen in terms of modernization. We also will change the constitution of the authority so that we have one authority as opposed to three, representing 3 districts. And on the new authority, we will have representations from industry, from retailers, the tourism sector, and the interested stakeholders who are necessary to make sure that we have representation that reflects where we are with the subject matter in the community. Well, our role is to deregulate mildly to make sure that the economic interests are maintained, people who are in the business of serving alcohol, but we also are very much concerned about ensuring that we have preventative measures in place. And the roadside sobriety testing is a way to ensure that the road traffic fatality rate is not increased in any way, but also to remind people that there are risks to overindulging when it comes to intoxicating liquor. So we all work together as collaborative agencies to ensure that the public interests are protected in terms of safety, as well as ensuring as a government that economic interests are advanced.
Elsewhere, the Minister of Public Works, Colonel David Birch, stated during a ministerial statement in the House that the Bermuda Housing Trust is saving to develop a 6th property. Fundraising efforts are underway to eradicate a waiting list and provide rental homes for senior citizens.
I was very pleased to table their annual report today for 2017-18. They're doing very good work, raising a lot of money. We're in partnership with them, the Housing Corporation, to provide them with in-kind support to be able to expand their reach to the senior community in Bermuda. I mean, they're doing very good work, and so I was quite pleased to report, and I was quite pleased that the chairman, John Barrett, and the deputy chairman, Senator Vance Campbell, were in the House to acknowledge the fact that, you know, the work that they're doing is appreciated by the wider community. Yeah.
Renovations will also take place on a cottage in St. David's. It will be converted into 2 apartments on Westcott Lane.
They have 5 different estates, really, they are, accommodating 200 seniors. We are working with them to convert a cottage that they own at Southside next to Ferguson Park into 2 apartments. We're doing all of the technical work for Housing Corporation, and they have the funding to do the renovation. That's a small project at the moment that should really come online sometime this year. That will address 2 senior families or 2 individual seniors. Their remit very much is for seniors who can live on their own, and they very much are communities. There's a new project that we're not quite prepared to go live with just yet, because all of the dots on dotted or the T's crossed. But it is, if it comes online and comes to fruition, it'll be an exciting project, and we'll work in partnership with them to bring it online.
Is that for seniors as well?
That's for seniors as well. That's their entire remit, to provide affordable housing for seniors, and they've been doing so for about 50 years.
Mike Sharp speaking there with Public Works Minister Colonel David Birch. And in case you weren't aware, roadworks are being carried out at the airport roundabout as construction has commenced on the new entrance to the new passenger terminal building. Part of the work involves taking down the Elif Wade International Airport sign. The letters have been preserved and will be presented to the family of the late L. Frederick Wade. A new sign will be erected at the new passenger terminal building, which will be unveiled upon completion. Also included in the construction works will be the removal of the bus shelter located at the roundabout. The affected area has been fenced off for security and safety purposes. Thanking the public for their patience as these works continue, Michaela Pierman, Marketing and Communications Officer at Skyport, says the airport redevelopment project continues to be on schedule, with significant milestones reached, including the completion of the roof. And we look forward to opening Bermuda's new world-class terminal next year, end quote. Now let's go to the AccuWeather headquarters for the latest.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you tonight's AccuWeather forecast. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brittany Boyer, and not a bad day out there today. Temperatures still running a little bit cooler than normal, but as we've been talking about, they are gradually going to be warming up over the next couple of days. As we take a look at what's going on the radar, really not a whole lot here close to home. You can see the bulk of the moisture off to our east. At the very least, I should say, we could be running into a spotty shower or two tonight, and also as we head into tomorrow. But as we look at some of the numbers here, I just compiled this list, and pretty impressive. It's getting into mid-March, and as we take a look at some of the numbers, yesterday's rain about 1 inch. Over the last 30 days, we've had over 6 inches of rain, and our year-to-date rainfall close to 14 inches. So it's been pretty wet to start off this year, and we are going to have some more rain on the way as we get closer to the second half of the weekend, which I like to call Sunday, and into Monday. That's where we could see some more rain in the forecast. So we'll be showing you the 7-day or the 5-day forecast, coming up in just a couple of moments. Right now on the island, temperatures are sitting in the low 60s, so still unseasonably cool out here. Humidity's right around 85%, and we still have the wind out of the northwest, anywhere from 20 to 24 knots, so still slightly breezy out there. But as far as marine conditions are concerned, we do have improvements in this department. We don't have any small craft warnings out there. You can see your tidal times right over here. We have our high tide coming in at 2:23 Thursday, and then the next low tide coming in just after 9 a.m. So overnight tonight, it stays breezy. We will have the clouds out there. Temperatures falling to around 58 degrees tonight. And as I mentioned, we could still allow for a shower or two. No significant rain like we had yesterday, but still a pesky shower or two. High temperatures still gradually warming up here, 65 degrees for your high tomorrow. Now let's talk about the steadier rain that we could be seeing here once we head into the end of the weekend. You can see our futurecast just kind of playing things out. The winds will start to relax, and then there will be another cold front coming in off the east coast, approaching us by the time we get into Sunday here. Ahead of cold fronts, we usually have a surge of mild air, so expect temperatures to get around 70 degrees, and then the front will go through with some rain, so things are looking a bit on the wet side late in the day Sunday and also into Monday as well. Speaking of wet, we do have some showers around right now in Barbados and also Trinidad. Temperatures sitting in the 80s right now. And we also have some wet weather in the forecast tomorrow in Toronto, Canada, New York City 51, 73 in Atlanta, and in London. Looks wet with a high of 56 degrees. Here's the extended forecast as we head into the next few days. Once we get through Thursday, it looks generally dry for both Friday and Saturday. And then, as I mentioned, the second half of the weekend, Sunday, we will have rain developing, becoming steady at times late at night into Monday, and then temperatures, of course, will be cooling down behind that front.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
I was diagnosed with illness. Very frightening because my son had just turned 1 and it was a cancer. So I'm young, new baby, and I needed to get the care that I knew would be definitive so that I wanted to be around for him for a very long time. I got in contact with BF&M, and BF&M was able to commit at that time to doing at least 50%, so we were comfortable, okay, well, we're gonna go. We got off the plane actually the day of the procedure, and on my way to the limo, my case manager called and she says, Kiana, we got it, you're covered at 100%. And I cried all the way to the office because I was just so happy. The BF&M difference is that I really felt that the case manager really was concerned about my overall care. And because of that, I really appreciated them. I think that personal care, that willingness to listen, and then to work until they were able to get it so that I could get full coverage really made the difference for me.
The Shadow Health Minister, Patricia Gordon-Pamplin, has blasted the budget presentation for the Health Ministry as delivered by Minister Kim Wilson on Monday. Mrs. Gordon-Pamplin talked about the debate outside of the House of Assembly today.
Firstly, a lot of the minister's presentations, the numbers that she spoke to were not representative of the numbers that we had in the book. And it's very difficult when you have a brief that's coming that has been poorly prepared, that is not reflective of what it is that we're intended to debate. You almost don't know where to start. We heard things like the brief was written before the numbers were finalized. To me, that's inexcusable. Also, in the presentation of the brief, the minister took 2 hours in presenting the brief, galloped along as though she was being chased by wild horses, gave very little time to be able to make notes because she does not share her brief with us in order for us to have cogent and appropriate questions. And there were significant numbers of questions that were left unanswered in terms of percentages that were poorly stated, the references, instead of referencing the original budget of last year to the new budget for this year. Some of the ministry heads looked at the last year on this year. Others looked at the revised last year on this year.
A computer forensic analyst claims the illegal images allegedly found on a defendant's computer had to be downloaded manually. It involves the trial of a 30-year-old man charged with 8 counts of accessing over 1,200 images and video of child sexual exploitation, which continued in the Supreme Court today. The Crown alleged that U.S. Homeland Security traced an IP address to Bermuda that had accessed explicit material of preteen boys and girls and children as young as 5 between April 2010 and March 2015. The trial continues. Still to come, Earl Basin will have all the latest sports news in just a few minutes.
Riding a motorcycle is it's a feeling that nobody ever can imagine. You never lose that, and you always want that feeling again. When you get to an intersection is where the most times you're going to have an accident. The guy did not signal. I presumed he was going straight. And lo and behold, next thing I know, I was all the way up in the air. And the ambulance came. They took me right into New York Presbyterian. And my personal doctor said, "Tom, you were in a horrific, horrific accident." You know, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to expect. The next day, the plastic surgeon came walking in. She said, "I have an idea." And she got together with the orthopedist, and they made a plan. I remember coming out of anesthesia. I had the courage to look down, and I saw my little toes. It worked. It worked. It worked.
At Argus, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when two people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs. For their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual, so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
Take a test drive today at Ultimate Motors.
Now let's join Earl Basin with tonight's sports report.
The Bermuda team that will challenge Dominican Republic on March 24th has been selected. Coach Kyle Lightbourne explains the difficulties of assembling a team such as the one that has been selected.
It has its challenges. You know, there's always players that you would like to have, and when you look around, you have the 23 to pick from. There's always someone that's going to miss out. So yeah, it can be difficult at times.
Overall, how satisfied are you with the performances thus far leading up to this last match of this run?
Yes, when we look at the Nations League performances, the first one was very disappointing. The second one was encouraging. You know, we played a lesser opposition, and then the third one we played a team that's ranked above us, and you know, it was a bit of a lottery that day, and we ended up coming out on top. You know, the weather conditions was not good, but I thought we dealt with everything on the day fairly well.
Reggie Lamb and his Cambridge United teammates gathered another home point to extend their unbeaten run at the Abbey Stadium to 6 games with a scoreless draw against Crewe Alexander last evening in Sky Bet 2 League action. Jonte Smith was not in the Oxford United team that fought hard for a point at Rochdale, with the game ending 0-0. Josh Hartman led the ODU Men's Football Club to the 2019 VTAC tournament title. Hartman, who captains the team, would see them finish the tournament undefeated, and they were the only team to score against Virginia Tech. And that goal came from Hartman. Bermuda's under-14 boys team of Antonio Warner, Bobby Bart, and Mackay Witter continued competing at the ITF World Team Junior Tennis Competition in Santo Domingo, and they are now 2-0. In their second game of the tournament, Bermuda would take on Suriname and defeat them 3-0. Warner would only need an hour and 5 minutes to defeat his opponent in straight sets, 6-1, 6-love, to give Bermuda the lead. The Bermuda lead was doubled when Witter defeated his opponent in straight sets, 6-love, 6-2, in a battle that took 1 hour and 2 minutes. The Bermuda pair of Bart and Warner would make it 3-0 when they defeated their doubles opponents in straight sets, 6-1, 6-3. A team from the Amateur Athletic Union, AAU, track and field organization will compete in Bermuda. Making the announcement was the AAU National Track Chairman, Charles Oliver.
In a couple of weeks, we're going to bring what is our first national team called Team AAU, and we're going to come to Bermuda and bring some of our athletes to compete in your meet there on the first weekend in June. We're very excited about that opportunity and looking forward to coming and having our athletes compete against your team.
Elijah Daly competed in the 2019 Spring Ontario Youth and Junior Championships, winning 2 medals and breaking 3 Bermuda boys 11 to 12 age group records in swimming. Daly would win the 200-meter butterfly silver medal when he was clocked at 2:26.05. He would shatter his own record time of 2:40.40 he set back on May 14, 2017 during the NYAC performance meet in Canada. Daly would capture the 100-meter butterfly bronze medal when he touched the water in a time of 1:05.50. And this would break Jesse Washington's record time of 1:06.32 he set back on April 16, 2012 during the 27th Carifta Swimming Championships in Nassau, Bahamas. Daly would also compete in the 100-meter backstroke final, finishing 7th with a time of 1:09.48, breaking Nicholas Brando's time of 1:11.07 he set on June 8, 2014 during the Validus Bermuda National Championships that took place at the National Sports Center. Lewis Cooper and his St. Mary's College of Maryland sailing teammates finished 7th competing in the St. Mary's team race interconference regatta. Lewis and his teammates would finish with a record of 4 wins and 5 losses in a round-robin event. Lewis and St. Mary's College of Maryland would defeat NY Maritime, George Washington, Cornell, and the Coast Guard. They would fall to Stanford, Hobart and Williams, Fordham, Charleston, and Brown. Today we take a look at Kamal Leverock's Walkerville Cricket Club numbers over in Australia. Leverock has played in 10 two-day Kookaburra Sports A1 Premier Grade matches, claiming a Walkerville Cricket Club team-high 27 wickets. Leverock over the 10 matches has figures of 139.5 overs, 27 maidens, 27 wickets for 444 runs. His best figures to date are 10 overs, 3 maidens, 5 for 27. Leverock has an average in the bowling department of 16.44, and a strike rate of 31.07. Leverock has batted 12 times in 10 games, and his highest knock being 37, with a total of 163 runs. Leverock has spent a total of 212 minutes at the wicket, with an average of 13.58 and a strike rate of 95.9. Leverock has also held on to 6 catches. I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Save $7 on fresh certified Angus beef prime boneless strip steaks, $15.99 per pound. All varieties of imported potatoes, just $3.99 for a 5-pound bag. 52-ounce bottle of Tropicana orange juice, $4.99 for select varieties. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes cereal, $6.49 for a 19.2-ounce box. Bertolli olive oil, $11.49 for select varieties of 25.3-ounce bottles. Visit our website at www.marketplace.bm for more super specials.
Surface
Trends is proud to offer Bermuda's best selection of natural and exotic stone, carefully selected and imported from Italy and Brazil. We also stock the newest collection from Caesar Stone and Silestone. Don't forget our wide variety of gorgeous porcelain wood plank tiles, including our exclusive Bermuda cedar tile, as well as natural travertines suitable for outdoors and indoors. Bathroom and pool tiles are in stock too. Stop by our showroom at 17 Serpentine Road, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1.
The Bermuda Sloop Foundation will host its annual Pirates of Bermuda event Saturday, March 16th at the number 1 car park on Front Street from 2 to 4:30 p.m. The rain date is Sunday, March 17th. Come out to watch the hostages on board Spirit of Bermuda walk the plank into the chilly harbor waters. Donate to sink or save them for ransom on PTIX or donate on the day. All proceeds go towards the school voyage program and the Spirit of Bermuda. Call 737-5667 or email info@bermudasloop.org.
I'm Tony Waterman. Coming up on The Breakdown this week, we are on the road in St. George's. The local economy was once thriving, flush with tourists, locals, and plenty of good-natured revelry. But that has changed. Shops have closed, hotels have pulled out, and cruise ships, now bigger and unable to fit through the channel, are mostly docking at the opposite end of the island. We're going to discuss whether 2 major construction projects, the St. Regis Hotel and the new airport, could change the tides for St. George's, its residents, and its businesses. That's Thursday at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9.
And that's all from us this evening. I'm Jasmine Patterson. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Jasmine Patterson's wardrobe and makeup is provided by Gibbons Company.